Anytime I get to watch Order of the Dragon, it's a fun time. Because nobody wants to pick this Civ unless there is a pool to paddle in. But there is no water here on Lipany. Only dragons on land for Louis MT in the pink on the north side of this. Meanwhile, to the south, we've got Ruland. Ruland who, I believe, is this not the player who exclusively plays the Abbasids? I think it is. I'm double checking. Yeah. Abbasids and then some French Rus. I think we caught him in his Rus cycle a month or two ago. Typically, he always plays Abbasids with a sprinkling of Rus or French in. So this is an OG Civ guy. He doesn't really play much else. I think he came back about 2 months ago. He'd been AWOL for quite a while. It's actually another Finnish player. They're really capable, though. This guy turns up each season and still manages to clock a top placement. Outside of Season 3, every season that they've ranked in the top 90 at the end of the season. Right now, they are ranked 30th on the leaderboard at the time of recording with a very respectable 2026 ELO. So don't just think this is going to be a Louis Stomp Brigade. Louis, pretty interesting opening here, right? Went for the double farm drop straight away. You know, it's actually interesting because Order of the Dragon does the farm drops better than most other civs that pay the full 75 wood. In fact, I'd say they do it better than any other civ that pays 75 wood because you build the farms quicker, but then also your villages are inherently better than others. That's a really good sign because it means, like, you know, compared to, let's say, Abbas has built a farm straight away, you're getting 28% more out of that than your opponent. And the reason that's a justified play is it allows you to stay out for longer gathering sheep. It looks like he didn't choose to do that, though. Louis came back, I'd say, quite quickly here, instead of trying to go the extra distance. But it looks like maybe he saw Ruland, or he just sensed there was no sheep in the area. Instead, they are going to just converge with each other on the west side corner. And it's not easy to get the majority of sheep, by the way. And it's why that farm play is quite important, because against this particular civ, remember, the Abbasids aren't going to come home. Or they don't need to. I actually think Ruland made a mistake the way he came back. My assumption is that they walked into each other here and then he turned around. So maybe it was a forced error. Military wing now on the way. Arkan in response. So Louis going for the grid. Yes, interesting, right? Like, people thought Minework was going to be the goated thing for a very long time. And I feel like that was an idea given up on rather quite quickly, right? There was kind of an argument at first that, you know, Arkan was being slept on a bit. That small buff made the difference. Then there was the feeling that Minework just wasn't working anymore because, if you guys remember, the whole logic was Golden Cuirass with Mass Men-at-Arms and Feudal. That build fell off pretty hard. People quickly found solutions. And I think in this particular matchup, Minework would be a death sentence because you wouldn't be able to play Men-at-Arms due to Camel Archers, right? Like, this is actually one of the better civs to counter the Men-at-Arms spam from Order of the Dragon. So definitely think you made the right choice. Which means we're likely looking at a fast castle build, right? At which point, like, what's Louis' goal here? What would the Abbas's goal? You know, if you're talking about Ibids, it would be Camel Lancers, right? So you couldn't build Lance. But I feel like Abbas's tend to lean more hard into infantry when they reach castle than the cousin civ. And to be fair to you guys, Lansk is a really, really powerful tool in the Order of the Dragon arsenal. I think we had Kraken in here before with us doing the maths on it. And when you look at the numbers on Lansk, they actually seem overtuned for what they do. I.e., too good. Logistics an option over Mastersmiths versus English for the Ibids? No, because if they have any units out, then your camels get sniped. Right? And they'll have a unit out. They'll have the king. They might build longbows as well. I think it's just better like to go Mastersmiths there. There are some matchups where logistics is really good. If you're against a 2TC build, logistics is much better. Unless you think you can block the 2TC, right? In which case the first desert raid is valuable. Why are we talking about those guys, though? They're not appearing here. Aggro is appearing here. Louis, this is a Men-at-Arms play. Which I just said I wouldn't have expected. And I'm wondering if that's part of the thought process. Is like, you know, one Men-at-Arms pushes away the 4 units. I guess it has longer value because he probably doesn't want to go archers in castle. I don't know about that. I mean, archers just feels like a no-brainer, right? You go archery range, you get 1 gilded archer probably is good enough to defend here. And then the idea is when you go into castle, you just scale into crossbows. So maybe the goal here for Louis is to be more all-in than we would anticipate. Kind of makes sense. I mean, we have seen a lot of Order of the Dragon players just targeting castle now. But maybe Louis sees more credence in playing long feudal. Second TC is wide here, by the way, Ruland. Good lord. All right, I need people to math check me here, because you know, people got me down on myself, but I'm pretty sure I'm right on this. I said that I thought Order of the Dragon was actually as good, if not better, than HRE on water maps. Well, not in the first 15 minutes, but once that tree line's gone. And the counter argument I got is that you have less villagers, which is true, but the villagers have a base rate increase of 28%. And you sacrifice a villager worth of production every 6th, right? So like every time you've cycled 5 villagers, your opponent now has 6 because the extra 4 seconds. So if you times 28% by 5, you get 140%. That means that you make up for the villager you miss out on, right? And then you have surplus. So like Order of the Dragon, I think they are pretty good on these longer water games, and even these longer land games. When you move out of range of the Arcane compared to like an HRE, is HRE going to be better in the first 15 minutes? I think so. But once you get past that phase, integrating this buff inside the villages is a lot better than I think it's getting credit for. And there was even a comment just there from Debilina. You are correct. Because it's multiplicative off of the base rate, and your base rate is higher, Ecotechs hit the Order of the Dragon villages better than other civs. Oh, it's true that water maps can be won in the first 15 minutes. The point is if you get past that, though, right? Because the argument is like HRE versus Order of the Dragon. Why would people pick Order of the Dragon there? That's why. Even on a land map, when you think about it as well, like actually a land map, I think it's exacerbated more. It's a bit different at the moment because HRE players are playing a lot of wood-based comps with archers. But back when you were just on food and gold, right? You think about it, when that stuff exhausts fast, there's kind of this weird gap. Order of the Dragon also just having a better ability to strike early as well is the other thing to think about there. I think the only thing that OOTD are really missing to make them a top 6 civ is probably the Prelate detail. Ball's going up. Not for the Horseman in position though, and there's the reaction we talked about. Yeah, this is the tough part I was worried about. Spearman plus Camel Archers is the golden goose here. Louis just getting kited out. Walls are starting to go up. Need to be careful of those Camel Archers though. Whoa, griefing himself with the wall build there. Go to Horseman. Wait, what? Okay, that's a little bit scrambled by Louis. You'd think you go after the Camel Archers first. It makes a lot more sense. It removes the debuff, and these are the high-value units. And considering how hard those Horsemen hit, the Camel Archers don't last very long. Nice split though. Separates the Men-at-Arms from the Horsemen, gets the kill. And the reason why this is the golden counter to Men-at-Arms spam, by the way, is the base damage. It's 12. But Louis, this was all a bait. Look at what's happening. Regnit's on the way, and I've got to say, it was quite the effective bait. Louis understood what we already said, which is long feudal, you lose this because of Camel Archer mass. So what's his solution? Screw feudal age. He's on his way up. Horseman spoken here. Yeah, Ruland's in a rush to chase this, but that's a bad thing because it means the Spearmen aren't going to be in position to punish. Oh no, the A-click. Oh, that lost him the chase a bit. No extra units being built by Louis might prove a bit problematic, but the issue that Ruland has here is with the limited range of the Camel Archers, you can't dive the TC. This is a comp designed to stop your opponent from doing those cheesy Men-at-Arms spams. So he's going to try to wrap around the goal, but unfortunately Louis already has the outpost set up there. Rams are being built, but I'm not really sure Ruland can break the base like this. He can at least buy some time. He's nowhere near ready to tech yet, though. And yes, like the issue or the dragon, just to emphasize to people, isn't the villagers. The villagers are actually good. I really believe that. For many different reasons. The gathering rates are actually really respectable. You're not sacrificing much in terms of production. Condensing it the way you do, like 60 food versus 50 is quite a good deal as well to get 28% more gathering. And then the other interesting thing to think about here is the implications on the health values. So like French Knights can't kill Gilded Villagers easily. Right? Because the French Knight charges in, then strikes with his sword. That's a kill on a normal villager without textiles. You can't do that against these guys. Another interesting thing is I actually think like Order of the Dragon are more repellent on Archipelago, for example, against a Knight raid or a King raid in the early game than HRE. because not only do their units have more health, they also have more damage. So there's a lot of things nice about the economy of Order of the Dragon. It's the units that fail them time and time again. There are 2 units that really work well as the game goes on. One in the early game. Men-at-Arms in the hyper early game. And then the units that work well as the game goes on are Gilded Crossbowmen and Lanzknecht. But both of those are very expensive. And if you get the hyper late game, you basically have to go Hand Cannoneers. And go back to Men-at-Arms usually, because otherwise you just don't have good enough units with the fact you're outnumbered. Knight dives in here. Now, you're noticing the pain here. The Camel Archers really do kick. Yeah, I think Louis kind of misread this a bit. I don't think the play here was Mass Knights. Kind of feels like you need something ranged yourself. Maybe Archers here with the Scale Armor could be good. Gilded Crossbowmen would be incredible because the extra tower range, right? Like, Camel Archers can't touch them. Instead, it looks like there's going to be more Armored Boys. We've got upgrades coming in for the Men-at-Arms. Yeah, I'm telling you guys, people are sleeping on Camel Archers. There's only one player I think is really paying attention to just how many cool builds you have of Camel Archers right now, and that's Anatan. Anatan is the only guy that I've seen really switched on with this unit type right now. I've seen other people occasionally attempt it, but Anatan is, I feel like when I'm watching him play Abbasids, he's looking for a way to do these. And no, this is not Anatan. Ruland is a Finnish player. Yeah, but the problem with Faye is she does everything, right? So, like, we're talking competitively viable. When she opens her mouth and says the word Mangadai, I immediately put my headset back on. Sorry, Faye. Also, reminder, like, what I'm talking about with Anatan, he's doing against, like, top 16 players, and he's getting the dubs in tournaments. Yeah, mark my words, especially in Master of Realms, Abbasids are going to become kings of camels on water maps. Because you have the eco to inflate these. I'm impressed Ruland's doing a land map, though. 14 Camel Archers now. I mean, at some point, just build a mango, right? You'd think. Ruland starting to rotate on the back here. Now, notice that Louis has not built any walls. Outposts instead. It's not the most respectable defenses here. I mean, the Camel Archers won't be able to kill it. They easily dive past it at this count, especially when you don't have a Spoon replacement there by default. Villagers rushing up now. Engagement coming from the backside. Knight's going to charge in. This is the other issue by going Gilded Knights, right? They get hurt so hard by the Camel Archers, more than practically any other unit you can build right now. Prelates trying to sustain the front line is not going to work out, but keep in mind behind this, Louis does have relics coming home. One already banked, 2 more on the way. Looks like he's being intercepted, but Wallows are coming out. The Camels might be in trouble here. Ruland, he hasn't started the tech up yet. Villagers do get into safety. Once again, that extra health coming in clutch. And the Camel Archer count, all of a sudden not looking that scary anymore. Yeah, they just evaporated, right? Like, he's got 14 in total, made that 13 now. But on the front line, he had, what, maybe 10? He lost 3 or 4 of them? This isn't that scary anymore. Okay, this could be, though. What? Oh, wait, what are we doing out here? Oh, Ruland, what a hit! Loses one of the Camel Archers, so isn't getting the insta-kill anymore. But still, a heavy dent to the Order of the Dragon economy here. Villagers still being chipped down. He might even get the injured one on the retreat. It was to click. That's wild. I do think Ruland is being overzealous now, though. Like, this was a great play, and this would have been the time to tech up. Instead, he's double downing on Camel Archers. This is deceptive damage. Like, he's killing Eco, but he's allowing relics in because he's tunnel visioning the base. I don't know, man. I feel like this is the way you lose a game. And it's weird and deceptive, and it's a type of game that you can actually fail to learn from because he done a lot of things right here. It's just he's a bit too committed to the same play now. This one relic is getting blocked out, but, you know, 4 relics, Regnants is still more than enough. Especially considering now, like, at this stage in the game, Louis could just consider adding in a Siege Workshop. He definitely has the gold for it. In fact, I think instead, Louis is just going to do something oh so typical and oh so greedy. What's that? The Abbasid player still in feudal age? It's not enough to be 1 age ahead of him. Those camels are scary. What if we were to be 2 ages ahead of them? That's an imp bank waiting to happen. Culture Wing finally on the way. Gilded Knight isn't going to be able to hang around here, but you always have to keep an eye on these guys. It's good for the Camelonese around here, otherwise villagers get sniped very easily. Raid coming in on the deer. Oh dear, Louis. Had to reinvest. Check this. He was thinking about Imp, but immediately queues up the Horseman and the Lancenecked. Villagers will be able to stay alive for the moment. They need to retreat, though. Okay, so the Men-at-Arms and the Knight should be able to actually idle this out long enough. Lancenecked is a sick read, by the way. Lancenecked Horseman counts everything Rulin's doing. We did mention already that the Lancenecked is one of the truly overtuned units of the Order of the Dragon, one of the ones that can make them look OP. Louis has got the veterancy on the way for the Horseman as well, so if you thought the damage was substantial now, just wait. Yeah, this is expensive. Rulin has got his tech up, but it's most definitely come at a price. And it is a big eco lead. I don't want to discount that, guys. It's 38 versus 79. That's kind of insane. But it's also Regnit's gold. It's also gilded villages, right? It does offset a pretty decent chunk of what Rulin's achieved here. It's still Abbasid's ahead, but my worry is that's not going to be for long. Because although we just had a few lands, look at what's happening now. Louis going for him. And I know it's a question asking about the Lance. Camel Archers do have bonus damage against Lancenecked. It's light melee infantry. The issue, however, is you're never going to get a chance to hit them with Horsemen slapping you in the face, right? Brilliant. No, he's not banking for Imp. It's just the units he wants to build, he has to wait for Castle Age. This is pretty typical behavior for Abbasids. So techs up, immediately queues up the crossbows and the Ghoulims. As we can see, Louis now ready for the tech up as well. Palace of Swabia on the way. Big camp kicking in as well. So Ruland, full infantry comp switch. I wonder though, does Louis just consider doing Mangos and Lansk? Oh no, he doesn't just not have Wheelbarrow of 80 villages. He doesn't have Eco Techs either. He only just got Broadaxe, I think, a minute ago. So yeah, Ruland has definitely been kind of skipping a trick or two here. Crazy to think as well, when you think about how long he played that age, not even having the level 1 Eco Tech for mass camels. Pock is on the way, so at least that'll be catch up. He's like, but now I'm more efficient with my level 1 techs because they cost 20% less. I don't feel like that matters much on 150 resources. Starting to wonder if he even realizes. Taipan's on the way. Nice kick on Louis. He's making it a 5-relic game. He yoinked the center. Oh. The fact that he was up against mass Camel Archers and still managed to get 5 relics is wild. Louis, aware there could be a dive on the way. This is smart. Heavy stone gathering. This could be cannon emplacements. It could also just be a keep drop. The way he spread his economy, probably cannon emplacements here, I think. Because he's got his Palace of Swabia quite a bit wide. And you know there is at least a choke point here where a keep could be good. But definitely feels a lot safer to just hull a few cannons at this. There you go. They do get queued up. Love that he never bought arrow slits. I hate when that happens in these situations. Just kind of feels worthless when you look back at it. Farm's now getting set up. So Ruland, he's trying to set up that late game eco. But without Fertile Crescent, this is proving quite expensive. I can't help but wonder if Ruland should have actually had at least the eco tech in this game, though. For the amount of berries he's focused on, just how much more eco that could have been. On the way. Well, lol, to keep him in range of the cannon emplacement. Farms are going to start getting burnt. Ruland diving in. And Louis, where the hell's the army right now? Lance gets queued up. Cannon emplacements aren't here yet, so there's definitely going to be some forfeiture given over. However, this is actually kind of good for Louis. Ruland is not chasing the economy. He's chasing after the military. It's bad news for the Abbasid player because it means the cannon placements are going to be there when he turns around for the villages. Yeah, I actually think Louis played that correctly. Right? Because there's no way you're going to fight with 4 units. The best thing you can do is idle him out and drag him away from where your economy is. Wall's now up. Safety in the backside. And with 3 cannon emplacements in place, I don't see Rulin going in here. Actually, what Rulin could be doing right now is siege workshopping. Trebs is not the quickest, but might be the best solution here. Instead, we're going old school. Mass Rams. I'm not crazy about Mass Rams against these emplacements. Remember, when you garrison a Relic inside, they do substantial damage against Rams. They already hit hard enough to offset the 50 ranged armor, but with a Relic, almost half their damage goes through per shot. Louis now with the Mango. Some big food issues, though. It looks like it's being offset a bit by the move out to the boar on the flank. Has still got some berries in the backside, but you know, this is the big question mark for Louis, right? Like, he lost a few farms there, a lot of idle time achieved. We're back in operation now, and I imagine, yeah, we're looking at Mass Lansk. Makes sense. Your opponent you have to bundle into these choke points. House is being hit. Not a bad choice. Last neck. I'm being engaged with right now. You can see Louis just trying to get some free hits in, debate the crossbows in range. Regnitz is getting bundled on by these Rams, but he has, of course, got the E-repairs. Does he actually get through this? Is it good enough is the real question, right? But that castle has got a Relic inside it. Cannon placement on the way there as well. And the Relic is pulled out. Yeah, it's a good timing. Louis isn't going to lose any of this gold trickle any more than is necessary here. Ruland. Push continues. One of these landmarks is now down, but with the cannon emplacements coming through, this is about to get harder. March under the keep. Notice that the E-repairs was not wasted. This is what you need it for. CC is going to get garrisoned. Mango in the choke point. Gulam going to dive through, but the lands. Oh no! Well, low to keep a soft reset here. Ruland just trying not to bundle up here. He doesn't want to give the maximum clear value. Archers are going to dive in. Rams now splitting between the TC and the keep. E-repairs does come on the strong point defense, and that is a bundle here. Way too stacked. Cannons should be able to clear this up. Louis pulling the villagers back. Just a few lines left over. The clutch repairs coming in, and that's it. Ruland, he's lost the entire army for this. Rams is all that's left. And Rams will not win you this game. Oh my god. Louis, what a sick hold there. The lands held back just long enough to wait for that kind of cluster to come in. Ruland, he got way too desperate about this. I think the ruins of the Regnitz hurt him. The E-repairs always was going to be a difficulty, but the biggest mistake of all was going into that choke point there. I don't know if he realized there was a cannon placement behind this, but even if he didn't, you know you're going to bundle up going through here. But I think it was the Mango detail, right? Like, Ruland probably looked at this and thought, I could build Springholes, but building Springholes when my opponent could just pop out a Culverin feels like a waste. That imp advantage is what kept Louis in this game. And Ruland, kind of hard stuck here, right? He's going to have to reset. By the time he comes back, Louis is going to have probably 10 extra farms, 20 extra eco, and a much bigger army. What was Ruland's best way to close this out? We mentioned the Trebs earlier. I actually think a Ford Siege Workshop would have served him a lot better. Slow Siege, escalate up to 5 Trebs, you start offsetting E-repairs, and then you just take out this keep safely. It's so hard to dive this, like you can't even commit torches, because relics are kind of ridiculous, right? Remember, when you garrison a relic, you get 50% more armor. So look at that, right? Like ranged is already getting dented. Fire armor, like, inflated by an extra 2.5. You're just never killing it. It's absolutely absurd. And true, Sacred Sites could have been an option, but I think what happened here is Ruland forgot about it because there was no relics to grab. Oy, oy, oy. Definitely is a good spawn for that as well. Now I think Sacred Sites aren't feasible, right? Like, he's going for them for the gold. It's definitely not going to be his win condition. Elite upgrades are coming in. Louis, he's got the Horseman vetted and deleted. Lansk about to join in on that. I wouldn't be surprised if Elite Army Tactics is a high priority here. Stone walls on the flanks, so Louis isn't going to be exposed there. Ruland, he can't let Louis get this much terrain for free. So there's a wrap to the west side. Hunting for what we can find, but Stonewall's already up over here as well. Dude, Louis is everywhere. This is wild. The amount of walls he's getting up, while not really having any real military presence on the map, is kind of mind-boggling here. Ruland, Eco Wing coming in, but I mean, at this stage, it doesn't have much value, guys. Not initially. Like, the agriculture is nice, but in terms of things like Fertile Crescent, right? Like, you lost the value there. There's 43 farms in. And, you know, you're not going to go for another TC. The Eco will at least be nice from the agriculture and improved processing, but, yeah. Kind of makes you look at this game and wonder, would it have been better to go Eco Wing and Castle with the approach he took? Oh, I'm not saying that your agriculture and improved processing isn't worth it, but a big value point in the Eco Wing is meant to be you're halfway through your farms when you do this. He's already knee-deep in farms. He doesn't need any more. Oh, moment here. Louis, it's time to find out where we're going. It looks like we're going to be switching it up to even more Cleaver, boys. I like this. Like, he's been trickling them in and using them in choke points, but this is a really powerful play for Order the Dragon, especially if you think you've got enough gold. He will have to take a critical fight for the 8k gold, because otherwise this isn't sustainable. But if you can just mass out on Gilded Landsknecht, super effective against your opponent here. Right? He went Crossbow Spearman. This is the best unit to build right now. Gilded Villagers are 28% more efficient on their base rate. With the Archon, it's 43%. Well, actually, it's more than that, because remember, it's 15% on top of the 128%. I'm treating 100% as a base rate there, by the way. Thank you, Dubelina. Yeah, 47.2%. Stone Gathering now coming in, Louis. This should be a keep drop for the 8k gold, right? Like, if he locks that in, he has all the gold he needs to get a win. Ruland. Looks like we got a switch coming. Compsabo's being teched, but no elite status for archers yet. And also, I don't think he has incendiary arrows, right? Not a chance. Meanwhile, I believe we should have a Unitech coming in soon, right? No uni just yet for Louis, a little bit of a surprise. When you're like 8 Lance, it's worth it for the army tactics. Is Mine Tech worth it for Landsknecht? It's pretty good. The problem is when you do it, I think I highlighted this at the start of the cast, is you don't often do mass men-at-arms, so Golden Cuirass is not really an existing move. So if you're not doing Golden Cuirass, but then also giving up Archon in the other game, that's very expensive, right? The Zornhau is really nice for what it is. I don't think it on its own is enough justification to give up Archon. So we've got a keep drop on the way, Louis. There it is. We talked about securing the 8k, and this might be perfectly done. The Ram clears the way. The keep drop comes in. Wait, what? The wall. Okay, that was a weird interaction. He was actually actively building the wall in the foundation of the keep. I've never seen that before. Castle now up, though. And that means the floodgates open for the Lance. Military Academy also now being prepped. Golems is not a bad idea here. Golems with double strike against Lance can be super effective. I'm curious, though. Has Louis... No, he hasn't. No Inspired Warriors, so... Missing out on a substantial damage buff. Remember, you do 27 damage at this stage. 15% increase. That is equivocal to, what, 4 levels of melee tech. Army is going react to keeping the flank. Louis may need to get out of here. Oh, but the keep in the center. Ruland. He gets it up, but not for long. Goodbye. Farewell, sweet prince. They were equal in economy. He just lost 15. He's about to lose 15 more. Keep drop now coming in from Louis behind this. Looks like that one's going to also get denied. It's a game of castle denials on both sides here. Louis hemorrhaging a lot of economy, but Ruland, every time he evens it up, he ends up further behind. Yes, that was 13 villagers. You just didn't see it because of Landsknecht. Oh, Denial back and forth here. Castle, more villagers being pulled though. The Golems, they won't be able to kill this quick enough. Yeah, so Castle's going to go up. It's a high price for Louis, but worth it to get the gold. Horseman Lance now coming. 17 Lance net. This is the Buster Build we're talking about. And guys, I really want to emphasize this is not even full power, right? There's a few things missing here. We haven't got EAT, no Elite Army Tactics. We also do not have Inspired Warriors tech. These guys can hit much harder than what you're seeing in this game. In fact, they can hit for, I think it ends up being 36, 37, 30. It's ridiculous. It gets high, right? Because EAT will get the 20%. And you're at 28 already. Kind of surprised. He's still just playing without that unit. It finally did get dropped. And this is what we need. It makes these units truly ludicrous. And Zornhound don't matter then, right? Because who needs poison damage when they just instant die? Siege Workshops in the center are starting to fall apart. Ruland is about to get idled out in the farms. Horseman moving in. Lance could follow this up. Instead, they're just taking all the freebies, walking their way. I don't know what you're meant to do with this anymore. Ruland, his economy is way too small. His quality of unit does not exist. He's got Hankiners queued up, but not an impressive count. And Elite Army Tactics now on the way. Suffice to say, these Landsnecht are about to provide quite the shellacking. Ruland. You can at least get behind the walls. But the problem is, there's already been a breakthrough in the farms. That's going to be a massacre. The only upside right now is at least it's not a tree line. At least it's not a gold line where the cleave damage would get a maximum impact. But it is going to add up fast here. Archers are at least there to react. With a ton of vision here. Lance going deeper and looking for those high-value targets. Needs to address the army, right? Elite Army Tactics is about to kick in, though. And this is where the ludicrousness commences that I talked about. Please coming through. Looks like this wave is going to get mopped up. There is another trying to breach through the front, though. Here you go, guys. Look at that damage. Reminder that that is an infantry unit. 34 damage in an AoE. And he's trying to get more of them in the enemy base. The proxy racks is on the flank from Louis. Breaking coming through, though. Does he try to burn this? There is one issue. The hand cannon count is getting quite high. Louis probably needs to switch mangoes to wipe this out. Still, Ruland. The worry I have now is, gold is drying up fast. His economy isn't fat. If he loses the army once, it's done, right? Whereas Louis, 100 eco with Gilded Villages, that's good enough. Add 28% on that, you're 128 villages. And yes, the Zweihander is the logic. We have a giant golden sword. When I swing it, everything dies. Apology also on the way. I'm impressed, man. Like, Louis, he's prevented Ruland from ever reaching that Zerg point that the bastards are known for in the late game. And, it's kind of trash comp, right? Like, if you look at the count, most of it is not worth it. Only 13 actually can stand and fight for any worth here. They might not be standing for long. Landsnecht moving in. Cannon placements also ranging this. And the flank raids just keep on coming through, right? Horseman again. This time the Landsnecht from the east side. Oh, no. Ruland. I think once biology is in, he doesn't clear these guys quick enough. Lance. Definitely not getting the maximum AoE damage, right? But the point is they're cutting reinforcements. Reinforcement losses that Ruland can't afford. He's officially out of gold. He can't access any right now. What a really cool game, man. I feel like any game I see Landsnecht coming out from All the Dragon, they impress me, right? It's very rare that when I see this unit scale, it doesn't perform. It's such an expensive investment, but once you reach that critical mass, it takes so long to clear them out. Look at the health. Even before Elite Army Tactics, this unit had a 210 health pool in Elite stats. And once it gets EAT, don't even get me started. Wave after wave. It feels like as quickly as Rulin moves to clear one wave out, there's 2 more coming in, right? It just doesn't feel sustainable anymore. 11 hand cannoneers also. Remember, a point in this game, that number was growing. We're past that point now. In fact, you might be about to witness them getting wiped. Lance moving in. Please through. Boot Camp is helping out a little, but not enough. That is going to be lost to the army, and that should be the game. There's no hand cannoneers left here anymore. You know, archers with composite bows, you think they'd be able to hold back these Landsnake, but these things, I mean, they're built of pure gold, right? They are demigods sent from the heavens.